Do you feel like you're just not where you want to be in your life right now? I felt very much like that 2 years ago, and my life has turned around literally 180 degrees. I'm going in a whole different direction. I changed it all through some simple principles, but I want to boil it all down for you, and I want to share with you where I leveled up through the great teacher Gary Zukav and what he has to say about what it really means to connect with who you really are. And that is the secret to changing your whole life. We're jumping right into it. What Gary says is life comes down to two ways of living. We're either living by fear or we're living by love. And Gary would say that fear-based living is when we live in the reality we've spun for ourselves, for lack of a better way of explaining it, by our old belief system, by our old kind of hustle and grind mentality, by that living by what David Hawkins would call force rather than power. We're pushing our way through life, trying to make our dreams happen, trying to figure out why things aren't working for us, trying to adapt and change and do all the stuff we do. That's to live by fear. And when you get down to the heart of what drives you when it comes to fear and you start to figure that out, you can escape that and you can start to live the other way Gary talks about, and that's living by love or living by power, as David Hawkins would call it, in Power versus Force. So are you living by force, hustle and grind? Are you living by fear? Or are you living by love? Are you living by power? The way we begin to change that in our life is we have to dig down, and this is, I'm going to be honest with you, not the easiest thing to do. In this journey of change over the last year, I've reprogrammed my subconscious. It started with me in some kind of outward focused activities that helped me to inwardly change my mind. But the deeper I got, the more I saw that really the power in life, the love in life, the change in life comes when we work from the inside out. For me, it started with positive affirmations, getting up and saying things I'm grateful for, gratitude before I got out of bed in the morning. I still do those things, but those quickly became kind of external factors that just helped kind of be bumper guards on the bowling alley lane of my life. Those are just kind of outward things. The inward work really began when I started to dig down and figure out what is the fear in my life that's driving me most of the time. And what I figured out, for me at least, is I came out of an evangelical church world, a pastor in that world for over 30 years, and I was driven by a lot of insignificance in my life, a lot of feelings of unworthiness, a lot of being told, Jim, you're a sinner, you're unworthy, you're not good enough. Not that I wasn't loved. I was loved in the family I grew up in and all of that stuff, but kind of my core spirituality and belief system was all built around unworthiness. And it bled over into every area of my life, and me constantly searching and longing and looking for love. Looking, as the country song says, I've been looking for love in all the wrong places. I was doing that for so long in my life, looking for acceptance and validation and affirmation and all those things. And when I started asking myself the simple question Gary talks about, and I'm going to share that question with you in just a moment. When I started asking myself this question, I started understanding the secret to all this, and it's really been changing my life more than it's ever changed. And it has really changed in the last year and a half for me. It led me to this coaching business I have here online with great people just like you. It led me into a whole new way of thinking. By the way, if you need some help on your own journey, subscribe below. I share this kind of content all the time. There's a link here if you want to discuss working with me. I'd love to work with you one-on-one and help you go 180 degrees from where you're going right now. But when I started to figure all of this stuff out is when I dug down, got a hold of the fear that was driving me, the fear of unworthiness, the fear that was linked to feeling like I was not enough. And I started to let that stuff go, to rise up out of me. I'm going to share with you at the end, by the way, for those of you who hang on to the end, a little practice that'll help you escape your fear-based living as well. A very simple 3-step process that can change it all for you. I will share that with you at the very end of this video. But what is this phrase that I began to ask myself? And here's what Gary says you should ask. What is my intention? When you're about to take action, Gary says action moves us from energy into matter. That's where what Joe Dispenza would say, where we can create reality by our thoughts. We can create it by the energetic vibration we put out. A thought becomes a thing, energy becomes matter when we make a choice in life. Because once you make a choice to act, to think, to do, whatever it is, when you make that choice, You're bringing your thoughts, you're bringing your energy from the inside to the outside, and you're setting up a series of consequences, good or bad, in your life. So Gary says what we should always ask ourselves is this important question: what is my intention in the choice I'm about to make? What is my intention in saying what I'm about to say, thinking what I'm going to think, doing what I'm going to do? Emotions are going to come. Anger and regret and joy and happiness and all these emotions, they're going to come in and out of our lives. You cannot control emotions, nor should you try to. But you can decide what choice you're going to make in the middle of those emotions. If you're feeling bad, you don't have to make bad choices. If you're feeling good, you can choose to make good choices as well and kind of superpower that choice. But when you make the choice, you need to ask yourself, what is my intention in making this call, sending this text, saying this thing, going to this person, going to this place, taking this job, moving in this new direction, thinking this thought, whatever little or big thing it is, what is my intention? Ask yourself that. And if your intention is based out of that fear system, that thing, that whatever it is for you, by the way, tell me in the comments if you figured it out already in your life. What is your thing, if you're open enough to share it, that is your fear-based thing with unworthiness was for me? What is yours? Tell me below. Whatever that thing is, make the choice to say, I'm not going to respond in that fear-based way of living. I'm going to respond in love. What does love look like? How do I share love in this situation? How do I share love? How do I extend love? Because love is the power that powers the universe. If you did not know that, that's what's beneath it all, behind it all. We have a cosmic source, I believe. I call it God. You maybe call it the universe, or some people call it Gus, God, universe, source, whatever you want to call it. There is a divine entity powering and behind this all, a personal force that drives it all, that expands this universe continually, and it's all driven by love. And when we plug in to living in that love, we start to change the direction of our lives. So what is your intention in the choice you're making right now, today? And when you start to ask yourself that question, you'll start asking yourself, am I choosing fear-based responses? Am I choosing love here? And when you start choosing love, you start figuring it out, and you start being okay, as Gary would say, with your life. And the key to living a full life, or rather, I'm sorry, I said Gary, but as Michael Singer would say, we learn to be okay. And okayness is where the power of life is at. When you get up every day and you're okay with whatever comes your way, guess what you're going to attract more of? More okayness. And your life's just going to become more and more and more okay. Whatever comes into it, okay, I'm good with this. Whatever happens, okay, I'm good with this. And you attract more and more and more of that, and it really starts to change your life over time. What's the simple practice? Here it is for those of you who hung around to the end of the video. Here's how you can really dig down and start choosing love over fear-based, love over your old way, an inner reality other than trying to hustle and grind your way to a new outer reality. Here's how you do it. Take a sheet of paper, divide it into 3 columns. On the left column, I want you to write down at the top, roadblocks. And these are just your roadblocks in life. What is it that's holding you back? What is that fear-based thinking, feeling, acting that you're doing right now? And I have 2 or 3 pages when I wrote this of mine, just roadblocks I feel are in my life right now that are holding me back from the life of my dreams, from the things I want, from the things I could be, the things I should be, the things I'm made to be doing. What are my roadblocks? What is that kind of fear-based living you're doing? Start to list them and make you a list of everything that comes to mind. Take some time, journal with this. That's the left column, roadblocks. The next column, it's going to be truth. Just write truth at the top, because most of the roadblocks in your life are just lies. Lies you've told yourself, lies that your past has told you, lies that those who have brought you up in the world you've grown up in have taught you, that television's taught you, whatever it is. Most of what we believe about ourselves, our limitations, our inabilities to move forward, to do bigger and better things, to have an impact on this planet, to be who we really are in our soul, most of the things in those roadblocks are just lies. What is the truth about that roadblock? I'll give you an example in my life. Because of my feelings of unworthiness, I've often felt myself to be not smart, not intelligent. And it goes all the way back to some weird things that happened in junior high for me that made me feel like I was dumb. That was one of my roadblocks. The truth is, I'm not dumb. I'm really pretty intelligent. The truth is I'm very talented, and I didn't realize that for so many years. I have people tell me all the time, Jim, you are talented in so many areas. You're good at speaking to people. You're creative. You're artistic. You have this ability with video and editing and all this stuff you do. You're talented. See, I was just more artistically gifted than mathematically gifted, and I thought because I didn't know math and things like that, and that was not my strong suit, I was dumb. That was not dumb at all. It was a lie that I'd told myself and held myself back for so many years. What's your roadblock? What's your dumbness? What's your thing that holds you back? And what is the truth? So I wrote my truth in there. You're not dumb. You're super gifted, Jim. And once you get those two columns, this third column on the other side of the page, write reality. Just put the word reality up the top. What would your reality look like if you began to believe the truth about yourself? If I stop thinking I'm dumb and I start believing the truth, I'm artistic and I'm gifted, what would my reality be? And man, it became all kinds of things for me. What I'm doing with you right now, what would your reality be? You are limitless. You know why? Because you're divinely connected. You're connected to your source. You are connected to the infinite power that powers this whole universe. A piece of that God, that source, that divinity is in you, and it's part of you, and you are unlimited, my friend. That's why we call this channel Unlimited Potential. You have unlimited potential. You just need to start believing it and making the choice out of love to act on it. Making the choice out of love to act on it, and you'll start changing it all. You'll start changing it all when you come into your new reality. That's the simple secret to making this all happen in your life. What are you living out of today? Are you living out of fear? Are you living out of lack of worthiness? Are you living out of depression, out of anxiety, out of all this stuff that comes out of fear in our life? Or are you living out of love, of just pouring it out from your heart to others, through source, flowing through you out into this universe where love permeates it? Are you choosing to live in power, or are you choosing to live by force? You can escape force, you can escape fear, and you can live in power, and you can live in love, and you can start right now. I'll see you guys in the next video.